What's up, fellas? Good morning. Good morning. We're jumping into a little bit of a stinky winky serious talking point off the bat. Okay, so we're gonna jump. I appreciate everybody being on their best behavior in chat. I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to cover this talking point calmly and respectfully. It's not that big of a deal. I don't make it too serious or too dramatic. We are once again asking the question that has been asked over the past 5 years of my YouTube career. Is Patrouski manipulating the market? What market will he ruin next, guys? We're going to cover that in a quick sec. I think there is an interesting discussion to be had, and I hope that I hope it can spread some information and hopefully reach anybody in the middle on the fence who have heard these things and are legitimately interested or are concerned, as opposed to those who just, you know, if you don't like me or you don't like the, you know, that's fine. That's okay. I'm not going to convince you. I have no problem with that. But for anybody on the fence, anybody wondering, you know, what's going on with that, we're going to try to talk about it in a quick sec. Good morning, Pokeslayer. What's up, Tom? Good morning, Good morning, Karoshi. Good morning, Voiceless. Good morning, Shadow. Good morning, Rapid. I mean, she still deserves love, even if she got the flu, bro. Come on. What's up, Lone Lion? What's up, JDB Tree? Good morning, Good morning. G'day, mate. I'll take it, dude. What's up? Time to pay. I know. True. Panic. You know me, guys. Big fan of causing panic for the IronMan. True. That's it. Dude, it actually, wow, that might be the funniest meme of all. Me playing, I'm getting more market manipulation allegations than I've ever seen while I'm playing the IronMan account. Brother, I don't like. It's cooked. It's okay. I understand. It's cooked. Look, here's the. Am I manipulating the market? My talking points for today exposed. My B-Day today. Happy flippin' birthday, dude. Holy man. Alrighty, fellas. Good morning. Yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski. Welcome to our PokeMMO stream recap, and we are starting off today talking about kind of a serious topic, kind of a boring topic, a dramatic topic, but I think one that's also pretty important, to be fair. We're talking about, do I manipulate the market? It's something that has been asked over the entire course of my career making PokeMMO videos over the past 5 years, and it is something that I take seriously. It's something that I think you have to take seriously as a content creator. How much are your videos affecting the market, and are you doing it in a way where it's spreading information, or are you causing panic? And I hope that I don't just incite panic and get on here and tell people buy. I hope that when I come on and I say, hey guys, RP's at a pretty cheap, this is my opinion, these are my thoughts, let me qualify, you know, please don't make financial decisions off of this. RP's at a pretty cheap price. Shiny War is around the corner in about a month and a half or so. It's based off of a piece of information. You might want to consider buying it, but you might not. It's honestly a 50-50. This is what I said in a recent video. RP is notoriously one of the most difficult things to predict. It all comes down to supply and demand. Will there be more whales who will credit card swipe, bringing more RP into the game to fund their their Pokeyen stuff, right? Or are there gonna be more people who are willing to spend Pokeyen to buy the RP, right? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I'm just trying to tell people you might want to make your decision based off of your information and your things, all that stuff, before Shiny Wars actually is here, because then it's too late. I try to teach financial literacy in PokeMMO, okay? But currently, I am being blamed because, and look at this. Look at this, guys. Wait a minute. RP was 1.4 million Pokeyen for the past, month or so. And then it spiked 100K. I made a video. I'll be honest. I made a video around here talking about someone else was buying out RP. I drew attention to it, right? Should I have drawn attention to that? That's arguable for discussion. I think it's news. I think if someone else is buying out RP, it's good to know for the average and casual players so that they can try to buy some out or buy some as well, so he doesn't buy it all out before they can get to it. That's not fair, right? So it's more of, or they can try to sell their own into the spike. It's information, it's spreading knowledge and news so that you guys can make your own decisions. I'm being blamed because I made a video talking about someone buying out RP, and then RP, went up or whatever. But from my perspective, it's a question of, did I make this move happen simply because I talked about it? Or is it because I shared information and then people made their own decisions because other people are smart people? They're not NPCs. They are smart people, and markets are smart things, and they adapt based on information, right? The other thing is, I'm getting blamed for a 5% rise in RP prices after RP has dropped 100% over the past 3 years. And I have actively talked about this nonstop. I've actively talked about RP was 3 million Pokeyen 3 years ago. And then it dropped down to 2.4 and 2.5 and even got down to around 2 mil or so. I remember I think it was around this point. When we were at this point before Halloween, it was at 2.2 million Pokeyen. And I was like, man, it's been a long time. It's been like 10 years, aside from this drop, obviously. It's been about 10 years since RP was this cheap. I would be shocked to see if it dropped more, but this is not financial advice. That's just like my shock as a player who's played the game for 13 years, right? And I was dead wrong. It dropped way more. I was dead wrong. And I'm thankful, I guess. I mean, some people, that's the other thing is, people blame me. If I give my opinion on anything, people blame me here because some people lost money on the investment, which I told them, don't ever make, I'm not here to give investment advice. I'm not here to give financial advice. I'm here to give you the history and the information from someone who's played the game for 13 years, right? And it sucked. It's crazy that it dropped, but it's good. RP, that's another thing, is like RP being cheap is really good for the average Pokemon player because you can buy donor status and shiny charm for cheaper. It's a really good thing. I just think it's interesting. I've been talking about the falling price of RP for 3 years, and it has fallen 100% over 3 years. And then this is the uptick, a 5% uptick, and I'm still getting blamed for this. And at the end of the day, feel free. That's a valid opinion. That's a valid opinion. I don't like the logic, but I respect it's a valid opinion to have. And if you feel that way, more power to you. I want you to be able to talk about it. I want you to be able to have that space. Okay. For me, it's just, isn't it more likely that it's upticking because Shiny War is around the corner? It's upticking because it's at the cheapest it's ever been since I've started playing PokeMMO in 2013. Isn't it more likely that it's upticking for a variety and a more complicated dichotomy of reasons, as opposed to, I made a video, I made a video and therefore it goes up 5%, Patrouski stinks, Patrouski manipulating the market, versus it's dropped 100%. Isn't this just like a normal market correction? I thought it was interesting to talk about. It's good to show, because sometimes players only see this and they don't know this because they haven't been playing for as long as some people, and I think it's really important to show people the history. I've been covering the drop of RP price for 3 years, and then it goes up a little bit and I get blamed for manipulating the market. I just think it's a good thing to show the history and talk about it and all kind of things. And I think it's important to, because I do think if I was manipulating the market, it'd be a big problem. I think it should be discussed, and there's things where maybe I could qualify more or be more responsible about in the future, and I always want to aim to be that, right? I always want to do the best I can. But I think historically, I have shown that I don't take advantage of this. There was something that happened in 2022. I called it the Great Koban Hold, where in 2022, this was really early on into my content career. Really, I started making videos in like 2020, 2021. And you can see Kobans come back down now. In about 2022, when Kobans came out, I declared Kobans were my favorite vanity, and I loved Koban. It was such a funny, dumb vanity. It was so stupid and small and all these things. And I bought like 80 Kobans for 20,000 Pokeyen a piece, and that was a lot back then. This was before like investing was really a thing. and a lot of other people who were watching my content back then. I probably had 10,000, 15,000 subs at the time, maybe probably less, I don't know. Very small, you know, YouTube channel, still very, very small in the grand scheme of things. But Kobans went up in price. Kobans went up to like 70, 80K a piece. And I could have sold and made so much money. But I went on stream every day and I showed my Kobans. I still have them on my main account. I'm on the main account on the side on the TV right here. I would log on every day and show people I still have my 70 to 80 Kobans because it didn't feel right to me that they had spiked just because I had drawn attention to them. And maybe you could argue, oh, it's because people really did like the Koban. I think there's an argument there, but I didn't feel comfortable with an item tripling or quadrupling in price, so I held my Kobans for the sake of standing on my own morals because I didn't want to be seen as manipulating the market, manipulating the economy. Another good historical example of this is 2012 Pokemon. People used to say that I was manipulating the price of 2012 Pokemon. Nobody actually collected them. Nobody cared about 2012 Pokemon. They're just, you know, it's just a Pokemon with a year. Why would anybody care, right? Versus the idea of people like, yeah, Daily Pat manipulates the market. We're doing the, this is me manipulating the market. It's actually 5-head chess, me manipulating the market. Yeah, I'm never admitting the allegations. I agree, but I hope that, and this isn't for people if you don't think I do a good job with that, I think it's fine. This is for people in the middle who are kind of have seen the allegations, have seen those things, and are interested in actually learning more about the lore, in my opinion. This is for people in the middle, right? Not people who have already decided on their opinion and are unmovable. 2012 Pokemon are obviously collectibles in my eyes, right? The same way base set Pokemon are collectible, right? Base set Pokemon cards. And I talked about that and I pinned that ahead of I predicted that ahead of time because I have the information. I know that. Well, I've experienced MMOs. I know that I love collectibles. I collect retro video games. I collect magic cards. I love collecting things. I saw 2012 Pokemon and I knew like this would be a really cool thing to collect. And people were collecting them before they were even searchable on the GTO. And I talked about it, but people thought that like all of this was like a what's the right word? Like rug pull, like a bubble. Whereas no, people, now that years have passed and now that we can search for 2012 Pokemon on the market, which we couldn't do before, it is very obvious. We see people like Epoch and other collectors. People just like to collect things in PokeMMO and things that they enjoy. That's just human nature. And it's just I like to go back. I'm not trying to like dick on anybody who, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's more so just showing the history and show times where I have stood on business and stood on my grounds and I try to stay away from predictions these days to some extent. But hopefully any prediction I make is going to be, hey guys, I think 2012s are really interesting. I love PokeMMO. I played PokeMMO back in 2013. I collect some myself. I think it's a really cool thing worth talking about. Versus, guys, you need to panic buy 2012s right now or else your chance to get in is going to be gone. Like blah, blah. If I came on, it was like panic, that would be a problem. And if you ever think that I am presenting something with the Pokemon market with too much of a panic, let me know. I think it's an awesome critique to be talked about. I think it should be discussed and it should be taken very, very seriously. I do think sometimes people think that I am like the master of puppets versus just a guy who likes to talk about and likes to discuss PokeMMO things related. And I think it's really important to respect other people. I don't think like people are smart enough to make their own decisions. Economies are very smart things where people don't just make decisions for no reasons. There have been tons of items that I was like, I think another example, we'll move on from this topic in a quick sec, but another good example is the Mage's Staff. The Mage's Staff was an item that infamously everybody got wrong. Every content creator back in 2021, every player, everybody thought this item would be a banger item, and it was 4 to 8 mil during the event, and we thought it would be more expensive than that, and it dropped to 800k. So it's one of those things. If I predict an item, or if I even mention an item these days, I don't predict much anymore, but if I mention an item and it goes down in price, I get blamed for people making those investments, and then if it goes up in price, I get blamed for manipulating. And I just hope people can understand that I'm just a guy who wants to talk about the game, and I hope that I need to do it responsibly, and I hope that I do it responsibly enough to your guys' liking, and I appreciate feedback genuinely on that. That's the blunt of it. Can we move on to catch events, boys? I appreciate the discussion. I appreciate we have a lot of these open dialogues in my stream. People will argue sometimes differing views are not allowed in Patrouski's comments or streams, and I encourage you to go through my comments, scroll through, and see the comments that I respond to and heart react, because I vehemently encourage good critique and good discussion. I always say something I value the most in my community is someone saying something along the lines of, you know what, Patrouski, I heard that you like the color blue. I don't really like the color blue because I think the color blue is depressing. I think it kind of brings down the mood. I think it reminds me of being like damp and wet, and I don't like that feeling. And I think the color blue is not the best for the game of PokeMMO. I love that. Good critique is invaluable everywhere, any online space, anything in the world, really. But if you are someone who comes on and says, Patrouski, you like the color blue, you're an idiot for liking blue, you suck, you stink, it's so obvious that color blue is dumb, anybody who likes it is dumb, that is usually something that I ban for. That's usually something that, like, I don't allow in my community because it's unproductive. But I'm even trying to let more of that stick around, because I think I still want people to be able to let out some steam, honestly. Sometimes is honestly what I'm trying to grow into. So that's where I'm at. But that's one of the, thank you guys for hearing me out today. If you leave positive comments are amazing, so I don't get one guide into talking points like this. Let's go ahead and jump into catch events, fellas. On Wednesday the 27th, tonight, I'm not going to be live long enough to actually get to this point, but there will be a catch event tonight on the 27th of May at 6 p.m. ET. Dragon's Den and Johto, Dratini and Horsey are up for grabs. There is a non-shiny Dratini or Horsey as a 6x31 plus some free RP for IronMan, of course, or for anybody, but IronMan really appreciate that, up for grabs as well. Next up, there also is a Shinx catch event with a really good shiny prize on the 29th, weekend-ish catch event Friday. It's like 2 p.m. on a Friday, not a great weekend, let's be honest. 2 p.m. on a Friday, but not bad. 29th of May, 2 p.m. Route 203 in Sinnoh. You can catch Shinx, Abra, Bidoof, and Starly. Nature bonuses are on screen right now, and there is a shiny Shinx up for grab. Really, really beautiful shiny dude. Beautiful Luxray, Luxio, Shinx, whatever it may be. Beautiful Pokemon. Plus, getting with good IVs, you can use this in raids or PVM or PvP if you want to be a Giga Chad. Not a whole lot of Luxray PvP usage, but it is what it is. Next up, moving on to our daily item market check. This is a newer segment to the stream where I've been covering items in the market every single day and not really predicting or giving any sort of opinion, but just going through the history and going through how things have changed. So Ghost Costume and big vanities like this have gone through one of the most historical changes we've ever seen in PokeMMO over the past 2 years or so. We are seeing giant vanities lose value for the first time, maybe in PokeMMO's history, from what I can recall. The Ghost Costume is a vanity from 2015, Halloween 2015. I remember when this came out, and it was even over. This might have been an item that was over 2 bill. I don't want to misquote, but this is an item that's been around. You can see here in the history, 2 billion Pokeyen as far back as 2023. And if I recall correctly, the Ghost Costume was actually too expensive to be on the GTL for a bit, but I could be mistaking that with a different item. So apologies if I'm mistaken. But the Ghost Costume being around 2 billion at its peak, being around 1.6 billion at other prices, one of the most expensive, rarest vanities in the game, has been coming down in price, being 2 bill at its peak, coming down to 1.3 bill as of mid-October, or sorry, mid-2024. That's mid-2024, and then down to 1.1 bill as of October and November 2024, and then coming down even further to 800 mil in March and April of 2025, and then just following that same pattern of gradual spikes and rises. Well, I said gradual. It's crazy that an item could be 700 mil on December 24th and then 1.3, a difference of like, that's doubling. It's insane. These items are just so rare. There's almost always only one on the market. They're just so rare and so nichely traded. It's hard to get a gauge on like truly what an item, you know, like this is worth. It just comes down to what is the buyer willing to buy for and what is the seller willing to sell for. It's been fun to cover some of these historical items in PokeMMO, but it is just a matter of these are so rare, so niche, so specific that it's just so, what's the word? It's so tough to tell what it's actually worth. And I'm not here to tell you that. I'm just here to show you the history. Fun, yeah. Park, one of an ex-staff member in PokeMMO, took a step down to take a break for PvP focus. Fun fact: this website has access to the game's GTL API, so it scrapes prices off the GTL, so it isn't 100% accurate. Yeah, absolutely. I sorry if I assume that knowledge is known. The average viewer might not know that. This is not 100% accurate. Sometimes the highs are higher and the lows are lower, or even more in the middle. I think this takes more of a middle ground approach from what I've seen, because it only grabs at one point, I believe. Like there are especially like RP, there were prices where I saw RP at like 3.8 mil at times. Maybe that was only for like a day or so, so it didn't like properly, or even for like a few hours potentially, right? So keep that in mind. Another great qualification added from Park. That is our little intro there. We do have our achievement showcase to go ahead and jump into as well, fellas. Our achievement showcase, if you don't know, comes from the Discord chat in my Discord known as the Achievement Showcase, where you can post all your PokeMMO achievements. This is a way to hype you guys up, show off, and let you flex, as well as hopefully give people some ideas and spark some interest in certain activities, certain shiny hunts, whatever people want to do on that day. And this, if you want to talk about a good critique against me, something I want to talk more about is how hard it is to catch high-level horde shinies. I need to be doing more PSAs, and I much love to Mariazel, I'm so sorry you lost your first shiny. I'm assuming this is from Mount Silver. I could be wrong, but we are not used to Mount Silver's only been in the game for about 2 years. Boomers like me are slow learners, okay? We need to take a little bit of time to you know, to grow, right? I want to encourage you guys and recommend a PSA to have high-level Pokemon when you are XP training. Don't just, you know, be careful with that stuff, because we have higher-level hordes of Pokemon than we've ever had in the game. We're not used to like 68, level 70 Pokemon, 62 even. That was like the highest for a long time. There are hordes over at Mount Silver that are higher than we're ever used to, and people are losing shinies. People are losing shiny Donphans, shiny Dodrios, because they're not. I'm not making it clear enough in my guides and my videos. I'll put that. I think it's important thing to say, to make sure you prepare for the shinies there and how dangerous that can be. So thank you, Marizol, for letting us learn from you, and I'm so sorry for your loss. Losing a Donphan like that is brutal, and I'm going to try to PSA that more often. Much love to you, gamer. Yep, Leviticus said from getting team wiped. Yep, often those shinies are lost from the Donphans just killing your whole team, because they do hit way harder than you expect, and they tank way more. It's just, they're high level, right? High level we're used to, right? All right. Yes, K9, I wish we had sold listings in PokeMMO. I couldn't agree more. PokeMMO Hub only tracks what the item is listed at, not what it is sold at. There's a reason why in the retro video game space, we use eBay sold listings as the way to get a judge of how much something is worth, and not just eBay listings. You could go on eBay and list something for $1,000, but it'd be worth 100, right? Or what someone's willing to pay, right? So it's just, markets are very complicated. I think those are fantastic qualifiers to add on. Thank you. Next up, Zika OB got my first roaming legendary at just under 400 encounters. Congratulations. This is sick. I don't have a lot to talk about with this. I don't have a lot to yap about. It's so lucky. You love to see it. Congratulations, dude. I'm glad you caught it. Hell yeah, bring timer balls, fellas. All right, next up, been grinding for almost 30 days since I started watching Patrouski's videos and I started playing the game. I made a little achievement and rewarded himself a little treat of getting himself a 30-day donator status and a full E4 rerun team. Bro, I don't even have an E4 rerun team, nor am I caught up on what E4 rerun strats are anymore. This guy got that in 30 days? That's impressive. That's fucking, I'm sure you've gotten like most of the storylines, if not all the storylines done as well. That's super impressive progress, man. Congratulations to you, dude. Hell yeah. Next up, Plum/Guts. First time player here. I finally managed to catch the elusive Audino from the Pheno to complete their Pokedex. All 5 regions completed, 5 shinies throughout the process, which is crazy. This guy has 255 hours played. Full Pokedex, all regions done, 5 shinies. If you told a PokeMMO player that 4 years ago, their mind would have exploded. They would have shit their pants on the spot. Like, that is not, it's crazy how good, I always say, it's crazy how good new PokeMMO players are, man. It's absolutely nuts, okay? And here, we can actually go and see, yeah, I have 950 hours in 1 shiny. Like, that's normal. Like, at least it was for so long. Like, maybe a little bit of, but like, yeah. I'll do the back in my day. I didn't get my first shiny until 2,200 hours played, and I was shiny hunting. It just hordes didn't exist back then. It was mostly single encounters, and just we were much more inefficient and slower, and all these factors, man. It's really impressive. I love that also. You didn't take that. I love that you're hyping him up, Toby. Like it's awesome, dude. It's awesome. Absolutely. Back in my day, I'm old, man. I'm unk. Okay. The 5 shinies he got, he showed he lost a Spearow. Look at these encounters. Bro got 5 shinies, 5,000 encounter Spearow, 2,700 encounter for the second Spearow, a third Spearow at 254 encounters. This guy went 254 encounters for a shiny Spearow into 149 for a Zubat. That's one of the craziest, like, wet back-to-backs. Like, that's crazy, dude. Like, wet streaks. That's insane. That is fucking nuts, man. What an insane fucking wet streak. Growlithe 17k, Durant 14k. I hope the luck continues, man, but I'm almost scared. I'm almost scared that guy has a dry streak coming, and I hope you can get through it, King. PokeMMO is all about that endurance, man. Good luck to you, gamer. Next up, hey Pat, this is my first ever like true shiny hunt, targeted shiny hunt in 20 years of playing Pokemon. Can I take a second? How beautiful is it that we play a game where that can happen and that can be shared? I underappreciate the social element that we have when it comes to PokeMMO and shiny hunting. People shiny hunt in the traditional games, and I love that, and it's awesome, and they have multiple Game Boy devices, and they do it, and maybe they'll post a clip or share it in Discord. I love that we as a community dedicate a lot of, I dedicate a lot of my content around like showing off people's shinies, and I think it's a really beautiful, like, shiny hunting is already so fun, and it's a solo journey. I like that it's a solo journey we can do alongside each other. It's a solo adjacent journey. But this guy got a shiny Axew, and they like really fucking earned it. Let me actually zoom in really quick. I'm honored my content and my Discord be helpful. This is a terrible screenshot for me, so my deepest apologies. But I believe, if I recall, I should have taken 2 shots for this, so my apologies. They got a random Garbodor, not shiny hunting, like 13,000 encounters. They got a Woobat. They got 3 Woobats and then got an Axew. So they went 4 phases for this. The Axew hunt is always a tough one. Congratulations to you, man. Completing your first shunt like that over playing I know what it's like to play Pokemon for that long and finally complete a true targeted shunt. I love you for that, man. Great target as well. Axew, Haxorus, beautiful shiny, man. I assume you plan to evolve it? I will say, don't sleep on Fracture. I think Fracture is an underrated shiny in PokeMMO, man. Why'd I go to items? Fracture is a beautiful. I love Haxorus. I'd probably prefer. There's none on the GTL. Google shiny Fracture. It has like the blue tips. Beautiful shiny. Okay. Anyways. Next up, achievement showcase continue. We have a few more, 1 or 2 more to cover. This guy, I love a wet first shunt, and I love a dry first shunt. This guy, first shiny, second favorite Pokemon. He went almost 88,000 encounters dry for his first shunt. Justice Dog 27, you are going to crush in PokeMMO. The fact that you didn't give up, do you know what it tells me when a new player can go 88,000 encounters and not give up and still get the shiny? You're gonna be. You don't even need to watch my guides. You don't need me. You're good. Like, you're good because your ability to grind is insane. Like, that is so fucking crazy. Yeah, let alone if he like played the game before. He didn't complain. Yes, he wasn't like, oh man, like my first shot was so dry, like, oh man guys, this was so hard, like blah blah blah. He was like, okay guys, I got it. Most nonchalant, chill, Giga Chad type of gamer. Like, this is fucking sick, man. Congratulations to you, Justice Dog. I love your attitude. You will go far in PokeMMO. And then the final achievement to talk about, because it is a cool one, it is a unique one, is TN, who spent 167 million, almost 168 million Pokeyen on a Bidoof because he is cooler than school. Okay. He spent 14, brace down the cost as well, 14.4 million Pokeyen to make his Bidoof 4 times 31 and then 2 times 25 plus in other IVs. 150 million Pokeyen to buy an all particle effect secret shiny Lucario. Can you just take also how Giga Chad is it that this guy consumed a 150 million secret shiny Lucario. He consumed it for a Bidoof. Like, I fucking love this, man. You don't see not a ton of players catch a shiny and then pimp them out like this. I'll be honest, I catch my shinies, throw them in the box, never to be seen again. I like the journey of shunting. I don't really put as much effort into breeding them up, but I love when people do. I really respect people who put a lot of love into their shinies, and you know, like this. Also spent 3.4, you know, to make it a breeder. Like, that's, dude. It's got, yeah, one of the most expensive Bidoofs in the entire game. He spent 168 mil to make the God Bidoof, the perfect Bidoof. And it's perfect. You couldn't know what he can send this in global chat, and there's not a single thing that someone in global chat could say and be like, oh, it's not even 6 times 31, just release it. That's like a joke as old as time. Even in 2013 Pokemon, if you link to shiny, the people, oh, it's not even this, release it. That was an old school joke. I love this TN. I love your effort. I love your Pokeyen spent, your grinding, your hard work. Thanks for stimulating the economy. I appreciate that. Nice job, man. Nice work. And that is our actual completed intro. Like the video if you have enjoyed it so far today. Dislike if not. I have some fossil farming to do on the IronMan account today. And most importantly, have a great day. Good luck in your PokeMMO grinds. And I will see you guys with a shiny reaction on the main account. We're shunting on the main account. We're AFK'd, of course. Shunting on the main account on the side, as well as playing the IronMan account in fossil farm, preparing for shiny wars. That is still my absolute main goal. Let's jump into things with good questions from chat to